So copy this.
And then Ramaji Prabhu, I'll also just quickly post that on our Facebook page.
Yes.
That's the YouTube link. It started now, so
Okay.
it's going to be on record from what we say right now. So, Srila Prabhupada.
Sure.
Record from what we say. It's like your Prabhu also joined, separate from his iPhone. Is that him? One says Sunit's iPhone. Is that him?
Yes, Prabhu, it's him. It's him. Yep.
His own is Jayadvaita Swami is also joined. Hare Krishna Maharaj.
Hare Krishna Maharaj.
Hare Krishna. Hey, Ram Vijay.
Hi.
Haribo.
Maharaj.
Nice to see you.
Nice to see you, Maharaj.
Hare-
Although you're but I'm seeing you there.
Krishna, Krishna. Yeah. Round rock.
Hiranmayana Patrena. Effulgence is a bit too much. Tobacco effulgence.
Yes.
Hare Krishna Maharaj.
Hey, Hare Krishna, Rup Vilas Prabhu. Ram Vijay, how's your health?
Is okay.
It's
Everything
not
okay.
You're looking good.
Thank you, Maharaj.
It's okay, but it's fine.
Grace of devotees and blessings.
The effulgence is there. Hare Krishna, Maharaj.
Hare Krishna.
Hey, okay. How are you in confinement, Mr. Rup Vilas?
I'm okay.
Good, good.
Enjoying this coronavirus, not corona.
It's a vacation.
Yeah, vacation. We never had this much nectar in so many years, you know. Now it's
Yeah.
continuous.
Yeah, now we're always in association.
Yeah. Maybe it's Krishna's arrangement.
Madan Gopal Prabhu, I think Gauranga Prabhu has joined.
Yeah, that's what it looks like.
Okay.
Let's see. Yeah, Jai.
Yeah, Haribol.
Hi,
Hare
Krishna.
Krishna, Gauranga Prabhu. Welcome.
Yeah, I'm just trying to. Oh, sorry. I think I'm on a wrong. I'm supposed to be in Austin group.
Yeah, you're in the right place. We are multiple temples together today.
Oh, sorry. I got confused by seeing Madan Gopal.
Oh, people get confused when they see me. It's natural.
Sorry for the confusion.
I'm just trying to figure out why my video is not working. Just give me a second.
Sure. Thanks to Zoom Siddhi, we're shortening the distances between New Jersey, Austin, Atlanta, North Carolina.
Yeah, these are just names at this point.
Yeah.
They're time zones.
Madan Gopal Prabhu, as Gauranga Prabhu is getting set up, should we just go ahead and get started?
I think we can get started because he's here and we can get started with the intro since it's already 8:01. So
Yes,
it's a good time.
Okay, wonderful. Hare Krishna devotees, thank you so much for joining in this very special session this evening on the 5 principles of independence, things that we can learn from Bali Maharaj and Srimad Bhagavatam. We're very, very honored to have His Grace Gauranga Prabhu give the class today. This event was originally supposed to be held on July 4th. And last week has been a very, very heavy and intense week for all of us devotees from different parts of the world. As His Holiness Bhakti Sharan Maharaj's Vapu is making its journey back to Mayapur Dham, we want to take an opportunity to dedicate this class to His Holiness Bhakti Charaswami Maharaj and praying for all his well-wishers and disciples around the world at this time. This Sangha today is co-sponsored or co-brought to you, co-presented by 4 different communities within North America. As Madan Gopal Prabhu said, these are all just names right now. We're all here together in this Vaishnava Sangha. So we have communities joining us here from New Jersey, from Atlanta, New Goloka, North Carolina, and as well as Round Rock, Texas. So we'd like to welcome all devotees from these cities and from all over North America and the world that are joining us today. A brief introduction about His Grace Gauranga Prabhu. Gauranga Prabhu is a graduate from IIT Mumbai and has been serving in various capacities at national and global level within ISKCON. He is a Global Duty Officer for ISKCON GBC, trustee for the ISKCON GBC College, member of GBC Organizational Development, and various other services that he has. Currently, he's the director for Govardhan Eco Village, a United Nations World Tourism Award-winning Eco Village community. Any devotee or anyone actually who's been to Eco Village comes back with this experience of actually seeing what spiritual world is like. And it is due to the efforts of Gauranga Prabhu and various devotees that are creating this little piece of heaven right there. He's an inspirational speaker known worldwide for his very, very powerful classes, classes that help connect with the Shastra and classes that help us want to study more of Srila Prabhupada's books. So we're very honored today that Gauranga Prabhu is going to be giving us this session discussing about the pastimes of Bali Maharaj.
Hare Krishna. Om Ajnanatimirandasya Jnananjana Shalakaya Chakshurunmilitam Yena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha. Nama Om Vishnupadaya Krishna Pristhaya Bhutale Shrimate Bhaktivedanta Swaminiti Namine. Namaste Saraswati Deve Gauravani Pracharine Nirvishesha Shunyavadi Paschatya Deshatarine. Jai Sri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhara Shrivasadi Gaura Bhakta Vrinda. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna, Gauranga Prabhu. We are still not able to see your visual.
Yeah, I'm not sure actually because my videos, I've switched on my video. So let me log out and log in again and then let me check.
Sure, Prabhu. So waiting for Gauranga Prabhu, want to take a moment to thank ISKCON of New Jersey for allowing us to come together with the Sangha, but also facilitating some fantastic Sanghas ever since Zoom started. I think that these Sanghas have inspired every devotee that once coronavirus finishes, we're all making our way to Parsippany. Did I pronounce it right, Madan Gopal Prabhu? Yeah, so we're all making our way there to have association with all of you and continue with this nectar it's just been so blissful. So thank you so much to the entire community for organizing these wonderful seminars for the last 3 months.
And it's nice that we're able to come together like this because we get to know your devotees, you get to know our devotees, you see all these names, they become all familiar, we see their faces on Zoom, and it brings the whole family closer together. And this little temple that you see behind me, that's under construction finally last week, so things are moving along. So we'll all be visiting each other's temples and spaces, and just brings our whole ISKCON family so much closer. I'm gonna, what happened?
Hare Krishna. So, yeah. So I just asked for my tech support to come and help me, but in the meantime, I can begin with the audio. So we are discussing Bali Maharaja's pastime from the 8th canto of the Srimad Bhagavatam. And this particular pastime, I'm going to take the last section where the entire pastime has landed up Bali Maharaj losing his entire kingdom, and having lost his kingdom, he is in a state of great distress. So Bali Maharaj at this point has been bound up by the Lord. He is completely held captive, and all the demigods are practically in a state of bewilderment to see how Lord Vamandev has managed to turn the tables around and made Bali Maharaj completely helpless. To the extent that Brahmaji, who's watching this entire episode, he's in a bewildered state, and Brahmaji, he starts speaking, and he says, Yat padayor ashatadhir salilam pradaya durvankurair apividhaya satim saparyam apyuttamam gatimasau bhajate trilokim daswan abhiklabamana katamartim richet. Says, by offering even water, newly grown grass or flower buds, he says, ashatadhir, without any kind of kapat, ashatadhir, without hypocrisy, he has offered in a state of great honesty, durvankurai apividhaya satim saparyam, the entire universe to you, my dear Lord. And you explain in your Shastras, Patram Pushpam Phalam Toyam, that if someone offers with love and devotion, leaf, flower, fruit, or water, Krishna accepts it. So therefore, if Krishna can accept leaf, flower, fruit, and water, and then here Bali Maharaj has offered the entire universe. So it is astonishing why Bali Maharaj's devotion is not being accepted and he is still being subjected to so much trauma. Just imagine if somebody can offer leaf, flower, fruit, and water, and their services are accepted and the Lord becomes pleased with them and reciprocates with them. And here is someone who has offered the entire universe, and still the Lord is asking for more. So Brahmaji becomes an advocate on behalf of Bali Maharaj, and he starts arguing with the Lord that, my dear Lord, this is not fair. So I do not, accept this. He is not deserving such punishment. People attain Vaikuntha just by offering water. Why should Bali Maharaj end up in distress like this? So therefore, Brahman yam anugrahanomi tad vidho vidhunomyaham yan mada purushastabdha lokam maam cha avamanyate. So now, in response to this, Lord Vamandev starts describing 5 reasons why he subjected Bali Maharaj to this. And he says, Brahman yam anugrahanomi yad visho vidhunomyaham. So in the next 5 verses, he describes the 5 reasons why he conducted and performed this pastime. The first reason, he says, that I want to defy the atheists, and I want to call the bluff on the atheists. those who say that Lord does not exist. There are various types of atheists. One who says God does not exist. Second, who say that God has lost control over the creation. Third, who say that, why you're discussing so many things about God, because ultimately God has nothing to do with my life, because if God comes in my life, I will kill him. And the fourth kind of atheist says that let's stop all this discussion about God, because ultimately I am God. So various types of atheists may be there, but the atheists need to understand that here is the topmost controller of the entire creation, Bali Maharaj. And in one moment, Lord Vamandev has changed his entire life upside down. So the word he uses is Yan Madaha Purusha Stabdha, which means intoxicated by wealth. Wealth makes you feel that you can control everything and everyone. Yan Madaha Purusha Stabdha. Purusha means any person, and Stabdha means proud. So arrogant. So the arrogance, the biggest cause of arrogance in this creation is wealth. And therefore, Yan Madaha Purusha Stabdha, because of that, Lokam Mam Cha Avamanyate. When a person gets wealth, number one, he becomes arrogant. Number two, he loses respect for anyone within the three worlds. Number three, Lokam Mam Cha Avamanyate. And number three, he loses respect even for the Supreme Lord Krishna. So therefore, this is the three effects of wealth, that it creates arrogance, that arrogance leads to disrespect of people of this world. And third is, it results in disrespecting the Supreme Lord also. And we see the similar pastime in the 10th canto Bhagavatam, when Nalkuvar and Manigriv are in the Mandakini, and at that point Narad Muni enters, and these two are so intoxicated in their sense gratification that they disrespect Narad Muni. And at that time, Narad Muni, he curses them and says that Tau drishtva madiramatau stri madandau suratmajau tayor anugraharthaya shapam dasyam madam jagau. That in order to humble them, Narad Muni gives them the curse. And in that curse, he tells them that you should lose all your wealth immediately, because this wealth is the cause of intoxication and blinding. And therefore, it is described that wealth is the cause of this. Video nahi aa raha. So, Zoom se nikalne nahi ho raha na? Just give me a second. We are trying to get on the video. 1 minute.
We can see you now, Prabhu.
We can see you, Prabhu. Prabhu, we can't.
Yeah, so light chala. Yeah, thank you. So, yan madah purusha stabdha lokam mam cha avamanyati. So this is a very, very important verse because the entire material civilization is intoxicated by economic development. And in the recent pandemic, there has been a tremendous transformation in people's consciousness because what we imagined that we could control the entire world through economic development, in one moment, everything has been taken away. The net weight of the coronavirus, if you collect all the coronaviruses all over the world and weight, it is less than 1 gram. So less than 1 gram of coronavirus has put a brake to the entire machinery of the economic development globally. So the Lord appeared personally for Bali Maharaj, but we are not so significant. So Lord doesn't have to appear personally. Just through less than 1 gram weight coronavirus, he sends the message that do not be so proud about economic development because all of your economic development is ultimately dependent. The artha is dependent on dharma. It is dependent on me. And therefore, he says here, Brahman yan anugrihanomi. So the word which he uses is anugrihanomi, means I show mercy. Right? Tad visho vidhunomi aham. That opulence, vidhunomi, I take it away. I take away that opulence. So Krishna is taking away that opulence from Bali Maharaj. Vamana Dev's taking away that opulence from Bali Maharaj was a display of his causeless mercy so that he could restore his spiritual vision. Yan madaha purusha stabdha lokam mam cha avamanyate. And therefore, it is described that to have wealth and to remain humble is only possible by the Lord's grace. And therefore here, the first principle which he mentions is that anybody with wealth becomes arrogant. That arrogance leads to disrespect of people of this world, and then it leads to disrespect of the Supreme Personality of Godhead also. And therefore, Bali Maharaj, he definitely had wealth, he had control over the entire creation. And therefore, I wanted to demonstrate greater mercy to him by showing how he can actually see my hand behind all of that opulence. And therefore, I took away his opulence. And let all those with atheistic mentality in future refer to this pastime, meditate on this pastime, and realize that no matter how opulent and how influential and how powerful one may become, it just takes me one moment to take away all of that control and influence. And therefore, nobody should think that I am in control. So this is the first reason to defy the atheistic mentality. Second, he says, Yada kadachit jivatma samsaram nijakarma bhi nana yonishu anishoyam paurushim gatimavrajet. He says the second reason I performed this pastime is to demonstrate very openly and very clearly the purpose of the human form of life. Many times, even after attaining the human form of life, people are totally engrossed in various kinds of economic development and sense gratificatory activities. And therefore, people feel my 24 hours must be primarily used for economic development. It should primarily be used for growing my wealth. It should be used for taking care of my sense gratificatory needs. So a person's consciousness becomes obsessed with accumulation of wealth and sense gratification. And therefore, Vamanadev says that I want the people of this world to notice this pastime and meditate on this pastime. That see the amount of energy, effort, time which Bali Maharaj invested in growing his empire. He spent his entire energy and life in becoming the emperor of the entire creation. But just see how much time it took for me to pull the plug out of his material opulences. So he says that if we are only invested in improving our economic development activities, and if we are simply obsessed with growing our wealth, and if we are simply dealing with increasing our influence based on our material abilities, then our material abilities will be taken away, because with time factor gradually the body will dwindle. With changes in the political and the various economic systems across the world, the net wealth which we have can change overnight. And therefore, we should not be obsessed with the idea that human life is meant simply for growing our economic development. So the purpose of human form of life is not to be invested only in artha and kama. The main purpose of human life is to lay the foundation of dharma and ultimately lead us to moksha. And therefore, when Lord Ram appeared, Lord Ram represents dharma. Then Bharat appeared. Bharat represents moksha. So Sumitra had two sons, Lakshman and Shatrughna. So Lakshman represents artha. Lakshmano Lakshmi Sampanno Bahir Prana Ivappara Sarva Priyakarastasya Ramassapi Sharirata. So Lakshman word means that one who uses every breath, every moment of his human life, of the life which we have in this world, in seva to Lord Ram. So therefore, Lakshmana represents the wealth of Kainkarya, the wealth of seva. So therefore, the word used is Lakshmano, Lakshmi Sampanno. Valmiki Ramayana says Lakshman is elevated because he is endowed with Lakshmi. Which Lakshmi? The Lakshmi or opulence of service. And therefore, the real artha we have is the artha or the wealth of seva. So Lakshman basically means one who is endowed with the Lakshmi or the wealth of seva. And therefore, Sumitra kept Lakshman connected to Ram. And therefore, when artha is used in the service of dharma, then that is a very, very positive use of energy in the human form of life. Yes, you increase your artha, but that artha, the purpose of that artha should be to be used for dharma. And then Sumitra kept Shatrughna with Bharat. Bharat represents moksha. Muktir hitva anyatha rupam swarupena vyavasthitihi. Bharat was constantly engaged in the service of Lord Ram. For him, there was nothing else. Even when Lord Ram went to the forest, even when Bharat is given the charge of being the king of Ayodhya, he goes to Nandigram and he performs that activity as the king of Ayodhya in the mood of a servant of the main king Ram. So therefore, Bharat Maharaj has attained the highest state of liberation. He is in his natural constitutional position. For him, the lotus feet of Lord Ram, the paduka of Lord Ram, the footwear of Lord Ram represent everything. Therefore, he is in his swarupa, he is in his constitutional position. And Sumitra keeps Shatrughna in service of Bharat. And therefore, Shatrughna basically means one who has conquered over his enemy. So, in the entire life story of Shatrughna, he killed only one demon. For killing one demon, to call somebody Shatrughna, that would be a little too much. So what was the Shatru which Shatrughna killed, for which his name is Shatrughna? Shatrughna Nitya Shatrughna Nitah Priti Puraskara Gachata Matula Kulam Bharatena Tvayanagaha. So Shatrughna is given that name because he conquered over the enemy of false ego. That which prevents us from engaging in service is various desires which are opposed to the desire to serve the Lord's devotee. So Shatrughna is very special because the entire Ayodhya was only glorifying Ram, 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 Jai Sri Ram, Jai Sri Ram, Jai Sri Ram. And practically Bharat Maharaj, after he returned back from Kaikeya Pradesh and after Ram being sent to forest in Dasharath's death, the most unpopular person in the entire Ayodhya became Bharat. And therefore, one of the most difficult things for all of us is to do things which is not socially acceptable. So to go against the social flow and to still continue to serve Bharat when the entire Ayodhya was criticizing Bharat is extremely difficult. And that's how many times our faith gets rattled, because we feel that many people are not supporting this. So Shatrughna did not have any major support in his loyalty towards Bharat. But Shatrughna was so focused in his seva to Bharat. The Sri Vaishnava Acharyas consider Shatrughna to be more exalted in many ways than even Lakshman, because Lakshman served the Lord directly, Bharat served the Lord directly, but Shatrughna served the Vaishnava. And therefore, to serve a Vaishnava, the most important need is to align our desire with the desire of the Vaishnava. And the desires of the Vaishnavas may keep changing, but how we can maintain synchronicity with those desires, and what prevents us from aligning our desires with the desires of the Vaishnavas is our false ego. The false ego makes us make independent plans, have independent opinions, and do various things. And therefore that false ego, Mithya Abhiman, becomes a Shatru, an enemy in our attempt to serve the Vaishnavas. And therefore Prahlad Maharaj says that just like magnets, the magnet, has ability to bring all the iron filings in one direction. If you place the iron filings on a table, then the iron filings will all be arrayed in different directions. But as soon as you bring the iron filings under the influence of a magnet, then all those iron filings become unidirectional. Therefore, we have millions of desires in our heart, they're all in different directions. But when we allow those desires to come under the magnetic influence of a Vaishnava's desire, then all those different desires can become unidirectional and we can experience harmony. And that is only possible when the false ego is conquered. And therefore Shatrughna is called as Shatrughna because he conquered over his false ego. And therefore he had no other desire apart from serving and pleasing the Vaishnava Bharat. Therefore Kama, or the desire, should be that yes, my standard of enjoyment should be that if I'm able to please the Vaishnava and the Vaishnava's smile, bliss, pleasure, the experience of genuine pleasure which the Vaishnava goes through, that becomes my real remuneration. That becomes the cause of my own pleasure. So that kind of kama, kamasya na indriya pritir yavo labho jiveta yavata jivasya tattva jigyasa nartho arthaya. So therefore, in this way, we find, just like in the first canto, second chapter, this concept is described. So artha to be used in the seva of dharma, and kama to be used ultimately so that we are situated in our constitutional position of mukti as a servant. So therefore, the human form of life must be carefully planned in such a way that we are not simply obsessed with economic development, and therefore Bali Maharaja's artha was snatched away by Vaman Dev to demonstrate that artha which is not used in the seva of dharma of the Supreme Lord will be lost in a moment. And therefore, please invest quality time in your human life, not just for economic development, but for satsang, but for shravan, for kirtan, for Vaishnav seva. These may not seem to have any immediate benefits, but human life is meant for investing in these because these assets cannot be taken away. Whereas the assets accumulated by Bali Maharaj was taken away. So therefore, yada kadachit jivatma samsara nijakarma bhi, that the jivatma travels through the entire creation in multiple bodies, nana yonishu, in different yonis, different species, anishoyam, helplessly, and finally paurushim gatima vrajet, after a very long arduous struggle and journey, the jiva gets a human body. Paurushim gatima vrajet, to get this human form is very rare, and therefore one should be sensitive to the fact that this rare asset of human life I have got, I should not spoil it simply for accumulating artha. The human life has been given to accumulate dharma. And which dharma? The dharma swanushtita pumsa bhikshaksena kathasu yena utpade edartin shrama evahi kevalam. To develop attachment to Krishna so that we can be situated in our constitutional position. So this is the second reason, to demonstrate the purpose of the human form of life. The purpose of the human form of life is to cultivate Krishna consciousness, not economic development. Third, he says, that Janma Karma Vayo Rupa Vidyaishwarya Dhanadivi Yadi Asyana Bhavet Stambha Tasyaham Mat Anugraha. He says that if a human being is born in an aristocratic family, Janma, Karma, Vayo, Rupa, right? He has high birth, he has meritorious activities, he is youthful, he is beautiful, he has wealth, education, right? Then Vidyeshwarya Dhanadivi, after having all of this, Yadi Asyana Bhavet Stambha, in spite of having all these opulences, if he is not experiencing pride, then Tatratyan Mat Anugraha, then such a person should be accepted as having received my grace and mercy. So therefore he says, through Bali Maharaj, I want to demonstrate one very important principle. That people come to the temple and they pray, give me economic development, give me assets, give me wealth, give me position. And they think by receiving some wealth, some position, that is a demonstration of the Lord's grace. But he says, no, I am actually pleased with a devotee not because of how much wealth he accumulates. So whether he gets influence, political power, wealth, position, these are not items by which I become pleased. To please me, one has to demonstrate the quality of humility. And therefore, it is humility which pleases me. And when a person has humility, it must be accepted that he has received my mercy. Tatratyam mat anugraha. If a person does not have pride, then this pride which causes destruction and insult, then that is my mercy. Okay. So therefore, Brahmaji, you are accusing me. Vamandev is telling, Brahmaji, you are accusing me of being merciless, of being unjust, of doing anyay towards Bali Maharaj. And you have publicly accused me like this. And you are questioning my intention. You are thinking that by giving material opulence and sense gratification to a person, that is a display of my mercy. I want to clarify to the entire creation that my Mahaprasad, my real grace, is when I bestow humility to a person. And therefore, when devotees approach me, they should not be aspiring for wealth. They should not be aspiring for position. They should not be aspiring for political influence. These are all insignificant details which are available even by approaching demigods. When you are approaching me, then you should know that I can give something which no one can give. What is that? The experience of humility. And therefore, we find that pastime of Sudama Vipra. Sudama goes to Krishna in Dwarka. Shushrushaya Paramaya Pada Samvahanadivi Ujito Deva Devena Vipra Devena Devavat. Krishna gets up from his seat and rushes and embraces Sudama and starts massaging his feet. Pada Samvahanadivi Ujito Deva Devena, as if Sudama is, all the demigods personified. Vipra Devena Devavat, Krishna is worshipping Sudama with so much of love and affection. Sudama is bewildered. Uchailam Malinam Kshamam Dvijam Dhamani Santatam Devi Paricharat Saksha Chamara Vyajanena. Not only that, Rukmini Devi, goddess of fortune, takes the chamara in her hand and she is offering the chamara. Kuchailam Malinam Kshamam, although he's wearing all dirty clothes and looking very, very emaciated. Dvijam Dhamani Santatam, even his veins are visible because of poverty and hunger. And therefore, all of the palace residents of Dwarka are bewildered and they start discussing with each other because they have never seen this person. And he looks so poverty stricken. And Dwarkadhish is giving him so much of respect. Ki manena kritam punyam avadhutena bhikshuna shriya hinena lokesmin garvitena adhamena cha. And they are saying that what kind of punya has he performed? If someone is poor, he's supposed to be, without punya. But if someone gets Krishna's grace like this, he's supposed to have punya. So we are confused whether this person has punya or no punya. Avadhutena bhikshuna shriya hinena lokesmin. So this Sudama Vipra, after receiving Krishna's darshan, Krishna did not give him any money. And when Sudama Vipra goes back to his own home, he finds that Krishna has given him a palatial mansion. And by seeing that palatial mansion, he is bewildered. Shvo bhute vishwabhavena swasukhena vivandita jagama swalayam tata patham anuvrajjanandita. As Sudama is going back, just imagine if you are going to somebody for fundraising, and showing all the brochures and this and that and everything. Please, can you give me donation? And then the person just gives you an embrace and gives you, some kind of a Mahaprasad and tells you, thank you very much for coming. And then speaking sweet words and giving you some juice, he sends you away. So will you be happy with this kind of a interaction? Because you were expecting a big check. And instead of giving you a check, he has simply given you some sweet words and very diplomatically made you go away. So Sudama should actually have been feeling frustrated that I came to Krishna in Dwarka and I saw so much of opulence. But in my return journey, he did not give me even one small insignificant jewel from his treasury. Sudama felt ecstatic. And so this verse describes, in spite of not getting any wealth from Krishna, why he felt ecstatic. Because real joy and ecstasy does not come by receiving assets, by receiving money, by receiving possessions, by receiving a position, by receiving respect materially. So actually, the reason Sudama felt very blissful was Krishna gave him two things. And if we give these two things to others, that will give them joy. What are these two things? First is Krishna gave him affection. And number two, Krishna gave him respect. So many times when we say that we want to give affection and love, and that results in sometimes familiarity. And familiarity breeds contempt. And many times in this world, intimacy becomes synonymous with disrespect. So Sudama experienced Krishna's most intimate, affectionate exchange, laden with genuine respect. So therefore, if we want to improve our individual experience of relationships with devotees, the single most important factor to improve our Vaishnava relationship is to make sure that our relationships are based on the principle of genuine affection and love and proper respect. So when we bring in love and respect, affection and respect in our dealings with devotees, then we will experience satisfaction. Swa shvobhute vishwabhavena swa sukhena abhivandita. Because Krishna respected him with affection, Jagama swalayam tata pathim anuvrajya nandita. So Sudama experienced joy also. And therefore, when Sudama sees his entire palace, he's bewildered. How did I become so wealthy? It was Krishna's grace. So by hearing the Sudama pastime, many times people in this world become very ecstatic. And in the Bhagavad Kathas, Sudama Leela is one of the most popular Leelas. And many times as speakers, we are requested by people, by organizers, Baki Katha bolo na bolo, Sudama ki Katha jarur bolo. Do not forget Sudama Leela, because it is a rags to riches story. And it gives so much of hope that, Krishna does not always make people Kangal, but he makes Kangal person also Karodpati. Krishna can make somebody who is poverty stricken also into a multimillionaire. So that inspires us to worship Krishna more. So therefore, many times people feel that, the real pastime in Bhagavatam is the Sudama Leela, rags to riches story. And if you look at this pastime of Sudama, it appears to be exactly opposite to Bali Maharaj. That in the Sudama pastime, Krishna gave wealth to Sudama, and in Bali Maharaj pastime, Krishna took away wealth from Bali. But actually, Sridhar Swami and Vishwanath Chakra Thakur explain that, do you know why Sudama gave so much of wealth, Krishna gave so much of wealth to Sudama? It was because Krishna wanted to humble Sudama. To humble him, he gave him wealth. So this may bewilder you. And then the Acharyas explain that there was a problem which Sudama was going through. What was that problem? Sudama had become proud of his poverty. He was so poor that Sudama started thinking, there is nobody in this world poorer than me. I am the greatest amongst the poor. So the false ego can manifest in multiple flavors. And Sudama was experiencing the pride due to poverty and thinking that, kaun mera kya bigad sakta hai? Who can, shake me or create any problem for me because I am the poorest. So Krishna detected that. And then he said, I must humble him. He should not think that he is the poorest. And therefore Krishna gave him riches to humble him from his feeling that I am the poorest. And so you may think that, oh my God, Krishna, why don't you make me humble also like Sudama? I would love to become humble the way you humbled Sudama. But Krishna knows where is our weakness and where our cause of pride is, and he will humble us there only. So the Bali Maharaj pastime and Sudama pastime are not contradictory, are not opposite. It may appear Krishna took away Bali Maharaj's wealth, he gave Sudama wealth. But in both cases, Krishna has not taken away, he has only given. What he has given? He has given humility. He has gifted the wealth of humility to Bali and the wealth of humility to Sudama. And therefore Krishna, as our well-wisher, is always ready to offer us the wealth of humility. So this is the third point which Vaman Dev is making. Yadi asyana bhavet stamba tatratya mat anugraha. Then he says that fourth, the reason I did this pastime with Bali is Esha Danava Daityanam Agrani Kirti Vardhana Ajayshit Ajayam Mayam Sidan Apina Mukhyati. That Esha Danava Daityanam, I wanted to glorify a devotee's tolerance. I wanted to demonstrate that Bali Maharaj may be born in a demoniac family, but demon and devotee is not dependent on birth or external symbols, but it is dependent on demonstration of qualities. When you press a sponge, if there is water within the sponge, that water will come out. Only when you press something, you know what is inside. And therefore, when a person is subjected to difficult situation and under the influence of the time factor, the material energy squeezes the person, then what is really inside comes out. So if anger comes out, that means anger is stored within. If anxiety comes out, then you know anxiety is stored within. But then if a prayer of gratitude comes that, okay, Krishna, you gave me this situation for my own purification and for my own advancement, tattenu kampasu samikshamana, then we know that Krishna consciousness has percolated deep within. And therefore Bhaktivinoda Thakur says, Tomara sevaya dukkha hoyata, seto parama sukha, seva sukha dukkha parama sampada nashaya avidya dukkha. That in your seva, my dear Lord, dukkha hoyata, whatever dukkha comes, seto parama sukha, it is the cause of the greatest sukha. Seva sukha dukkha parama sampada nashaya avidya dukkha. That dukkha and sukha will come whether you are a Hare Krishna or not. The whole world is going through ups and downs. So it has nothing to do with your becoming a Krishna conscious devotee or not. But what is the difference? Seva sukha dukkha parama sampada. While doing seva, when you go through dukkha and you are tolerant and grateful and continue remembering the Lord, nashai avidya dukkha. It destroys the dukkha of avidya. It gives you the remembrance of Krishna and it bestows grace of Krishna. And therefore, Vamanadev narrates all the various things that Bali Maharaj was subjected to, bereft of riches and position, thrown down and tied up by the enemies. He was deserted by his relatives and friends in one moment. And he was also caused by the pain of being chastised and rejected by his own guru, Shukracharya. But in spite of all provocations, what do I want to demonstrate through Bali Maharaj to the world? In spite of being provoked, in spite of being agitated, he did not give up his vow of truthfulness. Therefore, this is a person with integrity. And therefore, in the pastime of the Sakshi Gopal, the younger Brahmana tells the deity of Sakshi Gopal that, my dear Lord, it is not that I have come here just for the marriage, right? I have not come here just to pray to you so that I can get married. But Brahmana pratigyayai ei bada dukh. I am very worried that the older Brahmana has taken a vow in front of you and he will break those vows. And because of breaking those vows, he will fall down. And therefore, if a vow has been taken in front of you, if a transaction which has happened between two Vaishnavas in front of the deity, so that is not a very cheap thing. And therefore, I want to maintain the dignity of the transaction. And therefore, I can see that I am trying to make a drill sense into him, but he is not able to hear me. He is not listening to me. So when someone does not listen to us, we should not become hopeless. We have hope in the form of the deities. So when everything else fails, we have the ultimate shelter, which is our power to pray to the Lord, to the deities. And then the Lord reciprocates. And therefore that deity of Gopal, in response to that heartfelt prayer by the younger Brahmana to protect the older Brahmana and his vows, he came all the way to Vidyanagar, showing that I care for my devotees so much that I am willing to travel half of India just to help my devotee maintain their vows and care for them. And therefore, this is the fourth principle, that Bali Maharaj, in spite of all these traumatic experiences, he did not give up his vow and he was tolerant. So therefore, a devotee's tolerance is demonstrated. Then the fifth one, he says, I did this pastime with Bali Maharaj, took away all his wealth, and now I'm going to make him my doorkeeper. I will become his doorkeeper in Sutala planet. Because many times people are suspicious of me that Krishna only takes away things. He does not give. And people are always wondering, should I invest my 1 hour in satsang? Should I invest 2 hours in chanting? So I want to send this message across to all of you in Kali Yuga. Liberally invest your time and energy in worshipping me, because the returns on that investment will be much more than you expect. And therefore, ROI guaranteed. And therefore, here, Bali Maharaj's wealth was taken away, but then in return, Vaman Dev became his servant. So therefore, these are the 5 reasons why this pastime was performed. The first being that he wanted to reject the principle of atheism. Second, want to show the importance of human form of life and how energy must be spent in human form of life. Third, the power of humility. Fourth, the power of tolerance. And fifth, Krishna reciprocates. So the entire world of ISKCON is remembering the unlimited services of devotion performed by His Holiness Bhakticharu Swami Maharaj. And he is a personification of devotion, of tolerance, of humility, of how he spread Krishna consciousness all over the world. And I offer my prayers at his lotus feet, seeking his blessings for 1 drop of his mercy, so that we can also serve Srila Prabhupada with the same kind of dedication, devotion, and one-pointed determination in this movement of Krishna consciousness. Thank you all very much. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. Thank you so much, Gauranga Prabhu, for that absolutely wonderful class on these 5 principles of independence that we can learn from Bali Maharaj, from Srimad Bhagavatam. Prabhu, would you have some time to take some questions from devotees?
Yeah, sure.
So we can have devotees, if you'd like to enter your questions in the Zoom window here at this time. We'll also take this opportunity to thank Jadvaita Maharaj and all Srila Prabhupada disciples who are joining here in this Sangha to continue to inspire us here. So if devotees have any questions, please feel free to enter in the chat window. So we have one question here, Prabhu, from Dharmik Prabhu. Dharmik Prabhu, if you want to unmute yourself and ask the question. If you can't, I can unmute you. Dharmik Prabhu, you unmuted?
Hare Krishna. Yeah, it was not allowing me, sorry. Yeah,
Yes,
so, yeah, Hare Krishna, Prabhuji.
Hare Krishna.
My question is that when one is put into a difficult situation, so what should be the right approach? Like, should we try to control it? For example, like get rid of the entity which is giving us problem, or should we like remain silent and pray to Krishna for help?
Yeah, so the difficult situation is just like the coronavirus, and in today's situation, all the medical professionals, they are recommending the best solution to protect yourself from the coronavirus is what? improve your immunity. Because not just for coronavirus, for any other kind of virus or bacteria or any kind of other diseases which may come, there may be allopathy specialists, homeopathy, naturopathy, whatever may be the kind of, practitioners, but they may differ in their treatment procedures and they may differ in their theories on how to treat and everything, but they are all in one voice when it comes to the best solution is improve your immunity with proper diet, with proper exercise, with proper environment, lifestyle. So there is no debate about that. So therefore, life in this world means, just because hospitals open and doctors, graduate doesn't mean that diseases are going to come down. So hospital means that, okay, when you become diseased, what you can do. Okay. Similarly, the material world is a place of misery. So miseries are lurking around the corner every moment. And we cannot stop it. And therefore, the most important principle is how we can immunize ourselves. So how do you immunize yourself? The first 5 principles are given by Srila Rupa Goswami. You improve your association and connection with the holy name, Nama. Second, with the Srimad Bhagavatam, study the Bhagavatam regularly. Third, worship the deities. Fourth, you visit the holy dham. The power which is there in the holy dham, let it inspire you, affect you, transform you. And fifth is, then you are actually able to understand that the Vaishnavas must be served and serve the Vaishnavas in the spirit of pleasing them. So when you are doing this sincerely, these 5 principles, they create a very powerful kavach or a shield for your spiritual life. And therefore, it becomes just like Arjuna's chariot. So on the last day of the battle, Krishna told Arjuna, you get down first. And when Arjuna got down first, then Krishna got down, then the whole chariot was consumed by flames. So then Krishna said that actually all along attacks were there, but I was protecting. So you allow Krishna to become the Sarathi of your life. And allowing Krishna to become Sarathi or chariot driver of your life means that you prioritize his presence in your life on a regular basis. So then you are demonstrating dependence on Krishna regularly.
Okay. Yeah, that helps. Thank you, Prabhu.
Okay.
Thank you, Gauranga Prabhu. I know it is past 9 p.m. Eastern for a lot of the devotees here. So we'll just take one other question. This question is from Gopal Chandra Prabhu, Gauranga Prabhu. The question is, was there a reason that the Lord chose Bali Maharaj for this pastime? And if there was any backstory for Bali Maharaj that resulted in Krishna choosing him?
So basically, when in the 3rd canto, Diti, conceives these demons, Hiranyakashipu and Hiranyaksha. So at the time of cursing, like the husband Kashyapa Muni is very disturbed, and he says, you have insulted Lord Shiva and you have done all this kind of thing because of which demonic sons will be born. So at that time, Diti very much apologizes and says, please do something. And then at that time he says, okay, at least there will be one devotee in the family, Vaishnava, form of Prahlad Maharaj. And then Prahlad Maharaj's grandson is then our Bali Maharaj. So therefore, Bali Maharaj is one of the Mahajans, one of the 12 Mahajans. And basically Bhagavatam wants to very clearly demonstrate that devotional service bhakti is totally independent of all material considerations. Chaitanya Charitamrita also says, Sannyasi Pandit Ganer Korite Garvanash Neech Shudra Dwara Koren Dharmera Prakash. Mahaprabhu specifically had a pattern that he would make sure that the sannyasis and the scholars would be smashed again and again. Korite Garvanash, that was his mission, to smash the pride. And nobody should think that because I am in this material situation, so I am more privileged to have bhakti. No. Neech Shudra Dwara Koren Dharmera Prakash. So therefore, Bhagavatam reverses things. That Vritrasura is a demon, Indra is a demigod. We would expect demigod to be more devotional than a demon, but we find Vritrasura is glorified. So therefore, bhakti can appear anywhere, any place, any time. Bhakti is totally independent, which gives all of us hope that irrespective of how demoniac the past may have been, irrespective of whatever may have been the negative conditions, irrespective of all the different constraints we may be in, no material consideration, no material constraints, no material conditions can limit our ability to desire intensely to become an advanced devotee of Krishna. And therefore, our spiritual progress depends only on two factors: our sincere desire, sincerity of our desire, and the intensity of our desire. So our intention and intensity are the only deal breakers when it comes to advancing in Krishna consciousness. Therefore, we need to be totally convinced about Krishna's reciprocation. If we have the right intention, if we have pure intention and powerful intensity in the practice of the process.
Hare Krishna. Thank you so much, Gauranga Prabhu. On behalf of the communities from ISKCON of New Jersey, ISKCON Atlanta, ISKCON New Golokadam, and ISKCON Round Rock, we really like to thank you for that wonderful discussion. July 4th, 5th weekend was supposed to be Rasa Chintamani Festival that was supposed to take place here in Austin, Texas, but because of Corona virus, we are able to do this on Zoom. So we hope we are able to actually do this retreat next year by your grace and by mercy of all the Vaishnavas and Vaishnavis on this call. Thank you so much, Gauranga Prabhu. Madan Gopal Prabhu, over to you. Hare Krishna.
Thank you so much, and I really appreciate all the temples coming together for this joint program. You know, Gauranga Prabhu's kind mercy to spend his valuable time early in the morning in India. You know, 5:30 in the morning is sacrificing a lot of japa time and so many other things that very valuable every minute in the morning. So thank you, Gauranga Prabhu. And this is, I just want to make a quick announcement. So today we had our Power Weekend, we call it, for inspiration. So we kicked it off with His Grace Gauranga Prabhu on the 5 lessons of independence, jointly with ISKCON Round Rock. Tomorrow we have His Grace Radhika Raman Prabhu on appreciating Srila Prabhupada's rendition of Sad Goswami Ashtakam. Be very deep and sweet and Sanskrit infused sweetness. And then yesterday we started this series with His Holiness Sachinanda Swami, very popular. We had probably close to 3,000 devotees listening. Practical life, you know, life in bhakti. So 6 Saturdays starting yesterday, so 5 more sessions. So please join via Facebook or Tiny URL. It's organized by Bhakti Center, ISKCON Tuaco, and all the ISKCON temples in the area, including Gita Nagari. So please do join. You know, we got CNJ, ISKCON New York, and Bhakti Center. So please look us up. If you can go to any of our websites and find the details. And thank you all, dear devotees. If you'd like, you can say a quick Hari Bol and wish everyone a good day. Hare Krishna. Thank you, Gauranga Prabhu. Thank you so much.
Hare Krishna, Prabhu. Thank you so much,
Krishna
Prabhu.
Prabhu, Dandavat Pranam.
Pranam. Very nice.
Krishna Prabhu,
Hare
Dandavat
Krishna.
Pranam.
Hare Krishna. Prabhu.
Hare
Hare
Krishna.
Hare Bol.
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna Prabhu. Hare Krishna. Hare Krishna.
Nice to see you.
Hare Krishna Gauranga.
Hari Bol Gauranga.
Hari Bol Gauranga. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much. Hare Krishna. Hare Krishna.
Dandavat.
Thank you so much, Prabhuji. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
Thank you. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. Krishna Prabhupada ki jai.
Thank you, Gauranga Prabhu. Hare Krishna. Bye-bye. Thank you.
Thank you, Prabhu.